Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are MC.
When Alex Gordon puts his jersey on, the Royals can expect that he's going to make big plays with his arm and his glove, as he did last night. The Royals can also expect Alex to have an impact at the plate, and last night Alex had 2 extra base hits, including a 2-run game-tying home run. Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City. The Red Sox put the Royals outfield to the test last night, and on 3 occasions, the Royals made the Sox pay for that. In the end, however, Boston took game 1 of 4, 4-3. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And in a career season, a player is going to have several special games along the way, and last night, Alex Gordon had another one.
That's really, Ryan, that's a big surprise to everybody. I saw this in the minor leagues, didn't see it in the big leagues, but he's really came to the forefront this year in all aspects of his game.
And he did it on defense. He had a couple of big hits, including that game-tying 2-run home run.
Well, the one thing about his offense that I really like this year is that he's really relaxed at the plate, and he's doing a real good job of hitting the ball where it's pitched. If it's inside, he's pulling it. If it's away, he's driving it with power and back through the middle.
His home run tied a career high, and several weeks of the season still remain, so we expect him to surpass that. Now, other career highs, batting average already, RBIs, doubles, on-base percentage, plus slugging, assists. He is having truly a career year. Alex and the rest of the Royals tonight will be going up against Andrew Miller, and they pushed him around in Boston last month.
Well, they took advantage of the lack of control. He was up in the zone and everything up. The Royals really drove, and that was a great day for the Royals batters because they took advantage of every mistake that Andrew Miller made.
Dustin Pedroia is a 500 hitter in his career at Kauffman Stadium. He had 3 more hits last night. He drove in 3 of Boston's 4 runs, all coming with 2 outs. We'll take a look at the Sox lineup tonight when we come back. Missouri Lottery. When you play, students win. Red Sox offense has been slumping lately. They came up with just enough last night to take game one, and here's their batting order tonight.
Jacoby Ellsbury will lead things off for the Red Sox tonight. Dustin McGrory back in the number 4 slot, hitting .545 against the Royals in 5 games. And Jed Lowry's got a big job in replacing Kevin Youkilis, who's on the DL.
Veteran teams like the Red Sox and the Yankees will really wear down the starting pitcher, so that means it's an important night for the bullpen just about every night. And in the Royals' last 5 games, going back to the last road trip, they have stepped up, holding the opponent to a 1.8 ERA and a .216 opponent's batting average. Now look at the Royals defensively tonight, presented by Ram Trucks.
The Royals defense, especially in the outfield, had 3 outfield assists last night. That's the second time this year they've had 3 outfield assists, and that leads to Major Leagues.
Jeff Francis on the mound for the Royals. His ERA is much better at home than it is on the road. However, he has not won at home since the end of May. Tonight he gets the Red Sox, and the first pitch is next. Brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Get no-fee HD with digital TV from Time Warner Cable. And we go out to left field and welcome in Joel Goldberg.
Brian, thank you very much. We've talked a lot about Jeff Francis' first inning troubles, and he just came out of the bullpen after warming up with Brian Pena, and I asked Brian about it. What do you say, if anything, to him? And he said, I don't say anything to him. I don't want to get it in his head. He knows about it, no reason to harp on it. But he did think that just in watching the first innings over the year that maybe Jeff is exploring a little bit too much, exploring the lineup, exploring the strike zone. He said his goal is to be able to pitch like it's the 9th inning right now. Go out there, don't live on the edges, just be aggressive and expand the strike zone later on in the game, guys.
Monty and I have predicted that he will not allow a run in the first inning tonight. We'll get Jacoby Ellsbury, Mike Aviles, and Adrian Gonzalez. And inside to Ellsbury. 1 out of 3 with a walk, a run scored, and his 33rd stolen base last night. 1 ball, 1 strike, according to home plate umpire Tim Welke.
Well, the one thing about Jeff Francis, Ryan, is he's always lived on the corners, and he's got to have the corners to be successful, and he's been doing this for quite a while. So if he tries to get in the middle of the plate, you know, things are going to be a little bit different for him. So that first pitch off the outside corner, 1 ball off the plate, if he can get that pitch, then he's going to be successful.
85 degrees at first pitch, and we started right on time at 7:10. And the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot at KCA. Up the middle, backhanded Giavotella, jump throw, Hosmer with a stretch, 1 away.
A really nice play right here by Giavotella at second base. He goes to his backhand side and makes a little jump throw. Hosmer makes a nice play at first base to get the speedy Jacoby Ellsbury.
You know, it's a big lift for a pitcher when a good defensive play is made right away. And it's also a good sign for a manager that his team was ready to play for the first pitch or the first batter of the game.
I definitely agree with that. And I really believe the tone of the game is always set in the first 2 innings. So if you come out and start making plays right away, making pitches right away, then you give everybody a lot of confidence going forward in the ballgame.
Mike Aviles in his second game against his former team, facing Jeff Francis, who starts for the 26th time. 4-13. That's a career high in losses for him. Making his first start this year against the Red Sox. Francis has done a good job this year in limiting walks and home runs, and he's only given up 15 home runs in over 151 innings. That's good. However, in his last 3 starts, he has given up 3 home runs, including a first inning 3-run home run in his last start. Tonight, 2 up, 2 down, 2 ground ball outs.
That's a really nice play by Moustakas at third base. He watched the hop, he reads it, he comes in, makes it short, and keeps the momentum going right into his throw, and a nice throw face high to Hosmer at first base. So nice adjustment on Moustakas' part. Make the hop as long as possible or as short as possible.
And it brings up Adrian Gonzalez, who did not look like the league's leading hitter last night. 0 for 4 with a strikeout. And on 3 occasions, he grounded out to Eric Hosmer. Gonzalez is 0 for his last 14. No balls, 2 strikes. Still leading the league, batting at .343. He has 31 career at-bats against Jeff Francis and only 6 hits. And this one's past Hosmer. Up the line. Gonzalez doesn't run all that well. So into second with a 2-out double on an 0-2 pitch. He's been trying all series to get one past Hosmer.
Well, he does. He just barely gets it by him down the first base line. You can see right there, this pitch is supposed to be in. He didn't get it quite in far enough, and Adrian Gonzalez was able to get it down the line.
.37 doubles, which ties him for second in the league with Alex Gordon. Low to Dustin Pedroia. 3 more hits against the Royals, including a double. Drove in 3 of the 4 runs. The Red Sox were clutch last night. All 4 runs coming with 2 outs. And trying to do that again against Francis in the first. Two balls and no strikes. And if the Royals don't already have their hands full with Dustin Pedroia, his batting average against left-hand pitching is the best in the league. .402. Pitching him very carefully. 3 balls and no strikes.
They mentioned last night on the base hit up the middle against Holshaver to get the 2 RBI. He said it was a really good pitch on the inner half, but he's able to get inside of it and force it up back through the middle. So a good piece of hitting.
Even though they never do it, sometimes you have to tip your cap to the opponent.
That's true.
They say sometimes you just have to tip your cap, but they don't.
Never. Someone said that a long time ago, and I think it just caught on.
So rather than pitch to Pedroia, the Royals will pitch to Jed Lowry, a .256 hitter. 1 out of 4 with a double and a run scored last night. And they're also pitching to Jed Lowry instead of Kevin Youkilis, the Red Sox regular third baseman who went on the disabled list yesterday with a sore back. With 2 outs, Gonzalez doubled and Pedroia walked. Delayed call, but Tim Welke, getting a long look at that pitch, called it a strike.
And that's what you really want to do. That's if you're Jeff Francis. This is where you want the pitches to be. And if you can get those calls and you can repeat in that same spot over and over again, then until the hitters make some kind of adjustment, you're going to be successful.
And a base hit into right field. Francoeur's arm and Gonzalez legs. That's a good combination for the Royals. So even though Gonzalez is going on contact with 2 outs, no chance he's going to challenge Francoeur. Bases loaded, 2 outs.
Well, Francis leaves a curveball up, and Jed Lowry just kind of flicked it. Didn't take a full swing at it. Just served it out into right field. 1 hop to Francoeur, and that's really as far as Adrian Gonzalez goes, it makes him a dead duck at the plate.
And now Ryan Lavarnway, who made his big league debut last night, is called up from AAA, 0 for 4 with a strikeout. He flied out to Melky Cabrera 3 times. Laid off a changeup, 1-0. So 2 hits and a walk for the Red Sox in this inning, and both hits coming on an 0-2 pitch. Grounded to Escobar. So Francis gets out of it as the Red Sox leave the bases loaded. The first inning as the Red Sox leave the bases loaded, and now look at the Royals batting order tonight.
Well, Alex going to be leading things off for the Royals tonight, and Billy Butler had 3 hits last night and also had 3 hits against Andrew Miller's last meeting in Boston.
And Andrew Miller back in the starting rotation. He made 8 starts and then moved to the bullpen, and then back to the rotation tonight because the Red Sox played a doubleheader on Tuesday, so they needed an extra arm, and right now have a 6-man rotation. So his first start since July 31st, faced the Royals on July 26th at Fenway and gave up 7 runs in 3 2/3 innings. So his career ERA against the Royals is over 11. And he misses badly to Alex Gordon. Miller also gave up a couple of home runs in that game, and Alex hit one of those, and Alex had a 2-run home run last night. 1-1. Showing bunt, and at the end the bat became more of a shield than a means to get on base. That was not a strike. It's 1-2.
Well, you're right. He had to really do some maneuvering to avoid this fastball up and in. And a lot of times when you're lefty on lefty and you square around, they see you and they throw right to you. It's not an intentional thing. It just seems to happen when lefties face left-handers.
Breaking ball hangs high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the curveball stays high again. 3-2. Here's the home run Alex hit against Miller back in Boston.
Well, that's a good fastball right down the middle of the plate, and Alex drove it straight away. And I think that's the good thing that we see about Alex this year is that middle is going straight away is going to left field, and inside he's been able to pull a lot of good pitches.
Almost every pitch was up and in, and I don't know if Miller meant to do that, but that's where he was zoned in on Alex, and he begins his outing with a strikeout. Now the Red Sox defensively tonight, presented by Ram Trucks.
Well, Jacoby Ellsbury is going to be in center field, and Darnell McDonald is going to be in right field tonight, and that's his 12th start in right field. And on the infield, Jed Lowry. Big shoes to fill for Kevin Euclid on the DL.
A rare hitless game for Melky Cabrera last night. 0 for 3. Did have a sacrifice bunt, which helped lead to a run in the first inning. That put an end to Melky's 10-game hitting streak. 1 ball, 1 strike. Still leading the Royals with a .309 batting average. Tied for the team lead with 16 home runs. And leading the team with 73 RBIs. Two and 1. One hop to Lowry. And 2 up, 2 down for Miller. Andrew Miller, 6'7", 207 pounds. And you can see why he was so attractive in the 2006 draft. Every team had him on the top of their list in the first round. He eventually went to the Tigers. He dropped quite a bit because his agent is Scott Boras, and that scared off a few teams. And the year he was drafted out of the University of North Carolina, he made his big league debut just about 2.5 months later, and he did that against the Yankees. So the Tigers didn't waste any time with him. Ball 1 to Billy Butler, who has hit in 7 in a row. He was 3 for 3 with an RBI last night. Two balls and no strikes. 1 year after being drafted and making his big league debut the same year, Andrew Miller made a start here at Kauffman Stadium. In fact, almost exactly 4 years ago tonight. He pitched so poorly, the Tigers sent him to the minor leagues, but they sent him to A-ball, from the big leagues to A-ball, just to get him out of the spotlight. The weight of the world on his shoulders, trying to live up to where he was drafted, and the Tigers felt like he really needed to change his mental approach. From the Tigers to the Marlins, from the Marlins to the Red Sox. And Billy Butler into left center field, and Ellsbury runs into the sunlight to make the catch. nation's fastest mobile broadband network. By Panera Bread Catering. Order online at PaneraKansas.com. And by Chevy's, your Kansas City area Chevy dealers. No score to the second inning. With 2 outs in the first, the Red Sox loaded the bases against Jeff Francis, but he got Ryan LaVarnway to ground out. And he almost hit Carl Crawford with a curveball. Crawford 1 for 4 with 2 stolen bases last night, and against the Royals this year, 2 out of 16 with 8 strikeouts. 2 balls and no strikes. Good pitch on 2-0. Slash foul. And when Crawford hits one into the corners with his speed, that's trouble.
That's real trouble, and Jeff Francis left that curveball up. I think if he can get the curveball to go down to the outer half, he could probably get him, but when you leave it up like that, it gives him a real good chance to hit it.
Remember last night, Frank, we were talking about pitches like that for Carl Crawford this year. Pitches that he's fouling away, that with the Rays, that's a ball in the gap.
Yeah, a lot of it just waiting a little bit too long to commit. You know, just not taking that, getting that foot down in time to really utilize the bat speed that you need to. And it's almost like you're letting the pitcher release the ball, and you're trying to do too much in a short period of time. You don't really get through the ball and drive the ball like you should.
Final game of the series is on Sunday, another family fun day Sunday. Live entertainment, face painters, caricature artists, and much more in the outfield experience for the 1:10 game between the Royals and the Red Sox. And then, man, what a stretch the Royals have after that. They will play 17 of 20 games away from Kauffman Stadium. Gone for 10, home for 3, gone for 7. Jared Saltalamacchia. It was Jason Varitek behind the plate for the Red Sox last night, and Varitek in his first at bat drove in a run. He was 1 for 3. So from one switch hitting catcher to another, 1 and 2 on Saltalamacchia. Guide to center, easy play for Melky, and Saltalamacchia is out. He is 0 for his last 12. So for the second straight inning, Jeff Francis gets the first 2 hitters. And now it'll be Darnell McDonald, a right-hand hitter, instead of left-hand hitting Josh Reddick, who started in right field last night. J.D. Drew is still on the disabled list for the Red Sox, but he was taking batting practice with his teammates earlier today. Just below the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike on the former first-round pick of the Baltimore Orioles, Darnell McDonald, in 1997. He's been around a long time. 2-1.
Yeah, by the look of things, he's having a hard time getting on track offensively, and yeah, his left-handed pitching is 13 for 63, and that figures out to a 206 batting average, and it's even worse against right-handers.
Had some shoulder troubles in the minor leagues. He had 2 different shoulder operations, so injuries got in the way. Escobar charges in, and 2 more ground ball outs for Jeff Francis in the second. Royals score. And we remind you to look for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment later in tonight's game. Hosmer was a candidate on several occasions when the Royals were in Boston. He had 8 hits, 5 RBIs in that series. And when he faced Andrew Miller in Boston, Hosmer was 1 out of 3 with a double. One ball, one strike. Hosmer tonight trying to bust out of an 0-for-11, which has dropped his batting average below 270. Fouled a curve off of his foot, and it's 1-2.
You can go back and take a look at that swing, and you look at the way he went after that curveball. It's almost like he's hitting around it. And rather than getting through it, he hits around it. That brings it right down into his foot. So a lot of times that pitch away is going to be hard for him to hit because of that particular approach.
Miller strikes out his second, getting Hosmer with a curve. You can follow every Royals game through Game Connect at FoxSportsKansasCity.com. And as you watch the game on TV, you can join the conversation about the game on Twitter. Track trends and stats at Game Connect. Find it at FoxSportsKansasCity.com. Fouled away by Jeff Francoeur, 0-for-4 last night. Excited nonetheless, however, signing a 2-year contract extension with the Royals through 2013. No balls, 2 strikes, so the Royals will have, barring any significant changes or unforeseen changes, the same outfield next year with Gordon and Melky Cabrera, who has 1 more year until free agency, and now Jeff Francoeur. Still 0-2.
So it's really got to make you feel good when you go into spring training next year, knowing that you had an outfield that played as well as these 3 guys, and you go in there with the idea that this is something you don't have to fix. You just have to keep improving on.
Got on a hanging curve and drives it into left center. Francoeur has a 1-out double. There have been 3 hits tonight combined for both teams, all on 0-2 pitches.
And that's bad 0-2 pitches. This ball stays up early. Pitch before, he got it down. Francoeur swing over it, but he left this one up out over the plate, and he made him pay for it.
That's a first base runner for the Royals against Miller. We will pitch to Johnny Giavotella. Fastball in for a strike. Johnny 1 out of 4 last night, and his base hit put an end to an 0-for-8. Oh, 0-2. Giavotella, we mentioned this last night, compared to Dustin Pedroia so often. It's interesting watching Pedroia. I mean, he is always playing the game. Just watching him now, I mean, there is nothing phony about what he's doing, trying to keep Francoeur close to second base. Giavotella out on a ground ball back to the mound, and you having played that position so well, Frank, oftentimes second baseman or the shortstop, it's kind of a half-hearted effort. Well, I'll be close to the bag, try and keep him close. I mean, he's really working on Francoeur.
Well, what he does right there, I always like watching working in the out, which is what he does right here. He gets close to the base. The base runner is not comfortable. A lot of times second baseman is too far away and try to work from outside in when you should work inside out like he's doing. And so all Miller has to do, Andrew Miller has to do, is watch him And then when he gives him the go ahead and pitch sign, then he goes ahead and pitches. But give him a chance to do what he needs to do back there to keep that runner close.
Some guys will just kind of be in the area and they might say back once or pop their glove once. And the runner, a big league runner, they know. I mean, it's not really a threat, but there were a couple of pitches when Giavitello was at the plate when Pedroia was so convincing that he had Francoeur take a full step back towards second base as the pitch was coming in.
That's because you don't really know where he's at. When you work from inside out, you can start in, you can take a couple steps back and come back in for a pickoff. When you work outside in, you just it's a full sprint just to the base and they have time to react. But when you inside like that, they'll never feel comfortable because they don't know if there's a stunt being put on, and so they always are leery of where you are. And it doesn't never hurt to pat your glove or say a few words, anything to break the concentration of the runner.
A little different setup here with Brian Payne at the plate with 2 outs. Pedroia knowing that Francoeur is going on contact, so not as aggressive here as he was one batter ago.
I just think middle infielders have to be active. They have to be active and they have to be loud. They got to make sure their presence is known and make sure the base runner know that they're in the area. But when you play back and give the guys a chance to run all day, then I don't think you're helping the team or the pitcher by playing defense that way.
2-2 to Pena. Salvador Perez getting the night off, hitless in his last 8 at-bats, including a couple of strikeouts last night. So Pena in there with Jeff Francis on the mound. And you remember when the season started, Brian Pena was out there for Bruce Chen and Jeff Francis, with Matt Trainer catching the 3 right-handers. Still 2-2. I think that little guy got scared when his dad went for it with the glove. Maybe that guy with the ball would think about handing it to the little guy. I don't know.
That would be a nice thing to do.
I mean, the kid's scared and then literally rubbing it in front of the kid. Hey, look at this ball I got right here.
He probably remembers being a kid and always wanting to catch one at a ball game. And I always wondered about that. You go your whole life wanting to catch a ball at the ballpark. You finally get one.
And he puts it in the cup holder.
And everybody yells, give it to the kid, give it to the kid. This has been your dream all along, but most times they give it up. But not tonight.
Broken bat, another ground ball to Miller. So the Royals leave Francoeur at second base, and at the end of 2, no score. Quit now. And by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. Great night to be at the ballpark. A Friday night. Boston Red Sox are in town. Do you know the Royals have 2 homestands after this one, and that's it. And one of those homestands is just 3 games against Cleveland.
That's not good. It's getting too close to winter.
Ellsbury, he gets this one past Giavotella. Giavotella made a nice play on him in the first inning. So another ground ball for Jeff Francis, but this one finds right field. And Boston has the leadoff man on.
That's a break. This is a curveball here. Ellsbury waits on it. Gets in the right field. Hard ground ball, curveball left up. He really looks like a completely different hitter this year. I know he was hurt a lot last year, but his swing looks a lot shorter, and he's got a lot more pop in his bat. He's just kind of one of those fun guys to watch play this year.
Mike Aviles grounded out to third in the first inning. Good sign for Jeff Francis when obviously he's keeping the ball down, and you can keep track of his ground ball outs, and a lot of time that's a good reflection of how he is doing. No runs in the first 2 innings, and 5 of his 6 outs have been on the ground. Ellsbury has stolen 33 bases, including 1 last night. The Red Sox were 4 out of 4 last night in stolen base attempts. Fouled away by Aviles. So they were really running on the Royals. We talked at the top of the show about how they were running on the outfield, and the Royals outfield had 3 assists last night. So they were challenging the outfield, and they were challenging Salvador Perez with the 4 stolen bases.
I think a lot of times you get a young catcher with a great arm, and you put a little pressure on him, and you force him to have to throw quicker, and sometimes you force mistakes that way. But I think teams are going to come in with their same game plan until the Royals show them that they can shut it down. So they're not going to change.
Ellsbury running. Francis doesn't have a play there, so he gets Aviles. Runner at second, 1 out.
Ellsbury gets a good jump, and Mike had to reach for that pitch and hit it right back to Francis at the mound. And that's one of those balls that when you run it and you hit the ball, you don't want to hit it back through the middle because everybody's converging in the middle.
Adrian Gonzalez doubled up the right field line in the first inning. Francis throws a strike. It was on an 0-2 pitch. Then Pedroia walked, and then Lowry singled on an 0-2 pitch to load the bases. And you know how much trouble Francis has had at times this year in the first, but he was able to get out of it when Ryan Lavarnway grounded out. Now he goes the other way, and it's foul. Hey, there's our little guy. Now, producer Kevin Shank came up with a great idea when that little guy didn't get the foul ball last inning, that we send him a ball. And now he's got 2 of them. See how much happier he is?
Well, the guy next to him looked at him and said, "Who signed those balls?"
Francis strikes out Gonzalez. 2 away in the third.
That's a very good pitch on the outside corner. Outstanding, down, located well. Brian Pena didn't have to move his glove at all.
And Frank, and the Royals will intentionally walk Pedroia again. It goes down as an intentional walk in the first, but that's not what the Royals intended to do. Francis just fell behind 3-0, and then the intentional walk after that. But this time around, they will put him on and once again go after Jed Lowry. Let's go to Joe Goldberg.
Well, I was talking to Bob McClure about Dustin Pedroia today. How do you pitch him? And maybe this is the answer. You pitch around him. But Mac had some interesting comments. He said that Pedroia reminded him of a couple of his teammates when he was playing. Robin Yount and George Brett, in the sense that he said they play like they're always angry. Not in a bad mood, but just that energy, that competitiveness. But as far as pitching to Pedroia, if you have to pitch to him, he said he would pitch to him like he used to pitch to Tony Gwynn or Wade Boggs. You know you're not going to strike them out, so make them put the ball in play, but make sure that it's not too good of a pitch. Try to get them to miss-hit the ball, and if you get ahead in the count, you want to pitch him like Vladimir Guerrero. Bounce a ball or go way up high because he can hit those bad pitches, guys.
All right, Joel, yeah. As good as Pedroia is and as sound as he is, he does more than just hit strikes.
Oh, yeah. We've seen him take that high fastball and do a lot of damage with it.
So 2 on, 2 out, and Chet Lowry, after the intentional walk to Pedroia in the first, singled, but because Gonzalez was the runner at second, he was only able to move up 1 station. And now line caught by Escobar, almost caught it twice. First with his glove, then with his bare hand, but by getting his glove on it, even though the Royals don't get the out, he saves a run.
But nice to be a tall shortstop on this line drive. He gets up real high, and it just couldn't grab it on that second attempt, and it hit the ground. You can see right there, he still got it above the shoulders, and just couldn't bring it in. But anyone any shorter than Alcides Escobar, that's a base hit in the center field.
So Lowry probably feels like he should have 2 RBIs right now, and it's up to the rookie Ryan Lavarnway. And once again, bats with the bases loaded and 2 down. Remember in Chicago on the last road trip, it was Alex Rios for the White Sox who came up with the bases loaded twice in the first 3 innings, and both times the Royals got him. Curveball, strike 1. Lavarnway in the first, grounded into a fielder's choice to end the inning.
A good feel for the curveball on this pitch. Good height to it. Lavarnway gave up on it. The ball comes down into the strike zone.
Sky to right field. Frank Coor fades back and makes the catch, and once again Francis gets out of it. First pediatric liver transplant patient in Kansas City. They were so grateful for their son Luke's life that they founded Gift for Life. And the program spawned another effort called Lifesavers, where school children throughout the area hear about organ and tissue donation. And they're sitting in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat at tonight's game. 1-1 to Mike Moustakas. Royals with 1 hit in 2 innings against Andrew Miller. Jeff Francoeur doubled with 1 out in the second. And then Miller got 2 ground balls back to the mound. 2-1. Moustakas 1 out of 4 last night. Three balls, 1 strike. Alcides Escobar is on deck. And then we're back to the top of the order and Alex Gordon. Lined into left center field. So going the other way. Crawford cutting it off deep. But Moustakas is into second with a leadoff double.
Mike's been doing a pretty good job getting to this fastball up out over the plate, and he drives this ball into left center field. Nice swing, stayed right through it. And you see right there that you can see the extension. The hands are free to come through the zone, and the ball really jumped off his bat. And you see him hustling at second base. It would have doubled. You got to kind of glimpse of that pitch he did last night. He hit that hard. He took a high fastball, hit that hard ground ball to Michael Vilas' backhand, and he beat it out at first base. And so similar pitch, similar location, and now he's starting to get those hands free, and the ball's starting to jump off his bat.
Escobar trying to at least get him to third. So after that bunt attempt, the corners stay in for Boston. Swinging away this time and missing. 1-1. Escobar with a 4-game hitting streak. He did have a sacrifice bunt last night and was 1 for 2 with a run scored. Now back to bunting, and he gets it down, forcing Lowry to make the play. Throws high, and that's not hard to do with Pedroia at first. Moustakas to third, 1 away.
Well, a real good bunt by Alcides Escobar. He wanted to make Lowry field his ball. He did, and he dropped his arm down, and that almost caused him to get that ball up over Pedroia's head. You got to stay on top and keep the ball down, but excellent execution by Alcides Escobar on that bunt.
Miller struck out Gordon in the first inning. Got him swinging at a fastball up and in. Now he misses a curve. And it's 0-1. A look at tonight's league leaders brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. Alex is third in top career averages against the Red Sox. This is with a minimum of 75 at bats. Alex has 80, and he's batting .354. 1 ball, 1 strike. A little different approach this time, Frank. Down and away. Last time up, everything was up and in.
Well, he really pounded him in and finally got the strikeout. Yeah, that pitch there was a missed pitch there. It should have been on the outer half, but it stayed on the inside.
Drilled to right center. Long run for Ellsbury, and he runs it down with a great play. So a good play for both sides. The Royals take the lead. Ellsbury makes a great play and taking an extra base hit away from Alex Gordon. Let's take a a look at tonight's Sprint You Call It question for tonight. What has impressed you the most from Alex Gordon this year? Is it his offense, where he's having a career year, or his defense, where he is leading the league in outfield assists? Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, and then A or B. What do you think, Frank?
Boy.
Saltalamacchia loses the mask on a foul ball.
Yeah, I think Melky's backswing may have hit him. You know, I'm right in the middle. I mean, it's
A.5.
If I can go there, I mean B plus or something. I mean, but I just think that both sides have been so dramatically good. You know, I think hasn't been a weakness on defense. Hasn't been a weakness on offense. So it's really kind of hard. But I think when you look at everything he's gone through from the time he first came here in 07, I'd have to say his offense.
And offense will get the most attention because he's had a career year on offense. And the defensive side has been impressive no matter how you look at it. But we have to remember, this is his first full year in the outfield. Melky grounds out. The Royals get a run to take the lead at the end of 3 as Alex drives in his 65th. Okay. One 1-0 Royals to the 4th inning, and a look at the wideband internet pitch speeds brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Up to 50 megabits per second of pure online power. 3 scoreless innings for Jeff Francis, and that's a fair ball. Carl Crawford with Frank Hoare pretty shallow in right field and not far from the line. That prevents a triple. So Crawford with 2 good swings tonight. He's 1 for 2.
He really hit this ball well right on the end of the bat. Just hit it in a real good spot. And if he really stings this ball, it might get down in the corner. But a curveball to hit on the end of the bat, just right inside the bag, just out of reach of Eric Hosmer, diving for try to stop this ball from getting by. Frank Hoare does a good job getting over there, cutting it off, and keeping Crawford at second base.
Bringing up Jared Saltalamacchia, who had his bell rung as the Royals batted in the bottom of the 3rd on a foul ball from Melky Cabrera. He flied out to center in the 2nd inning and is 0 for his last 12. So 3 scoreless innings for Francis, but they haven't been easy innings. Red Sox left the bases loaded in the first and in the third. Escobar ran to the bag, so Saltalamacchia had a wide open left side of the infield, and he takes a ball 1-1.
Well, it's all about timing. You got to make sure the pitcher's looking at you when you make that break, and you got to know how long Jeff Francis takes a look at second base before he commits the pitch. And then when to me, I would have called timeout, went into the mound, and then just try to get on the same page, say, just give me a little bit longer look and give me a chance to operate back here before you pitch to the plate.
2 balls and 1 strike. Jeff Francis facing the Red Sox for the first time since '07. He beat them during the regular season, but then the Red Sox beat him in the World Series. That was game 1 between the Red Sox and the Rockies. On the ground, Crawford made a move toward third, but holds as Escobar throws out Saltalamacchia. Finish the conversation on our Sprint You Call It question for tonight. What has impressed you the most about Alex this year? Is it his offense or his defense? And Frank, you were going with offense.
I'll go with offense because offense is what's going to keep him on the field.
Joel, how about you?
Well, I will say that for the first time I was ready to play the Frank White card of going right in the middle. I kind of like them both, but I know I got to make a choice here. And I'll go back to something Frank said. I think, Frank, you said this last night about how this is the player offensively that Alex was for you in Double-A.
Yes.
It's the first we're seeing it like this at the big league level, but this is at least what we always expected or hoped for. But for Alex to be playing Gold Glove caliber left field, and if there's a better left fielder right now in baseball, it can't be by much. That's what's most impressive to me, is because we never envisioned over the years Alex Gordon being a superstar left fielder. We envisioned what he would do offensively, but what he's doing in left field right now has exceeded expectations.
Carl Crawford, who won a Gold Glove last year, that's rare for a left fielder, is at second base with 1 out. And an awkward swing and a foul ball from Darnell McDonald. I don't think one is less impressive than the other. I agree. What he's done in the outfield in his first full season in left is more impressive than I think a lot of people give him credit for. However, because he's young and because he's a good athlete, I'm still more impressed with what he's done offensively, because this is a guy who's hit in high school, he's hit in college, he's hit in the minor leagues, even though it was 1 year, and then not hitting the way he was accustomed to for 4 years in the big leagues, and having to reconstruct his swing and do all this for the first time. To me, that's more impressive. I go with offense.
Well, it's all about, I think you hit it right on the head. It's all, the defense is new.
Melky trying to make a diving play. It's just beyond his reach. Crawford will score, and with an RBI, McDonald goes into third with a triple.
Francis made a nice pitch up in the end to Darnell McDonald, but he leaves a changeup down out over the plate, and he does a good job of getting to it and driving it to right center field. Melky did everything he could to try to cut this ball off, even catch this ball, but couldn't get there. And with Crawford on second base on a ball like that, he's going to score very easily.
So the game is tied, and now the infield comes in for Ellsbury, and he takes a strike. You were making a point about Alex's offense.
Yeah, I think he hit it right on the head. Even though left field is new to him, and that's something that really has impressed everyone. The key thing was that he changed his whole swing. He wasn't the same guy coming into this season that he was in the previous season. So no one expected this kind of an offensive season out of him. But the change in his offense, it's what's keeping him on the field.
Well, he's going to get a chance to throw out a runner. He gets behind it. That's out number 2. Here's McDonald, and he beats the throw. Boston leads 2-1.
Milk had a little bit more trouble on this one, right? Last night he came right through it and was ready to throw. There he caught the ball, then he had to wind up to throw, and just a little extra pulled the ball up the line and gave McDonald a chance to get into home plate. You remember last night he got behind the ball, ran right through it, and was right into his throwing motion. There he caught the ball, and then he had to go, and that takes a little more time.
Hold foul by Avilos, 0-2.
So we take a look and see how he's standing flat-footed right there. So he really this is last night here. No, this is tonight. Oh, it looked like it. Okay, I got my nights mixed up. But you see when he caught the ball, then he took extra steps before he threw, and that was a big difference. Last night it was right away.
Avilos has grounded out twice. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Getting his 4th straight start at shortstop, Avilos is Marcos Scuderos, still bothered by a back injury. So Avilos' days at shortstop were done with the Royals when Escobar arrived. He was getting his playing time at second base and at third. And he goes the other way for a 2-out single. Remember, you can secure your priority to the 2012 All-Star Game with 2012 season tickets. It's the only way to make sure you are part of Kansas City history. For details, go to Royals.com/2012. We've got our very comfortable 2012 All-Star Game shirts on tonight. Broken bat. And a bad hop gets past Hosmer. So again, Adrian Gonzalez, who grounded out 3 times to Hosmer last night, now tonight, really hasn't stung either of his 2 base hits, but he's gotten them both past Hosmer.
Just a broken bat here, and Hos goes out to try to block it, but he hits right on the edge of the grass there, goes up over his glove hand. And Jim Patella tries to run it down, but it gets by me. You see right there, it hits right off the lip of the grass and goes straight up in the air. They went up quite a bit, too.
Yeah, he missed by more than a foot, maybe even 2 feet. And if Hosmer's going to miss by that much, there was a bad hop involved.
Yeah, if something happened if he doesn't get leather on a glove leather on a baseball.
And now Francis will pitch to Dustin Pedroia, whom he has intentionally walked twice tonight. And he throws a strike. No real easy innings. He did have a 1-2-3 second inning. It required 15 pitches. Red Sox left the bases loaded in the first, bases loaded in the third. And now they have 2 runs on 4 hits in the 4th. Maybe you could hear home plate umpire Tim Welke say no away, meaning it was just outside. In baseball lingo, another way to say line drive is to hit a laser. And Dustin Pedroia in the clubhouse before games will tell his teammates, all right, guys, put your goggles on. I'm going to be putting on a laser show tonight at 7 o'clock. Hurry up and get a good seat. Avilos takes off for third, and he is in with a stolen base. Wow. Now, Gonzalez didn't move up, and you have to ask yourself, was that worth the risk with Pedroia at the plate?
Well, I don't really think it was, because if Gonzalez does go with it and gets second base, guess what happens with Pedroia? He gets intentionally walked again. So if that's, I don't know if that's a call play or Mike running on his own, I'm not sure, but you're right. It's pretty risky.
Back to Francis. It hit him, and he's still able to get it to Hosmer to end the inning. 2 runs for the Red Sox to take the lead. Bottom of the 4th in a carsoup.com email the booth night. Go to carsoup.com/Royals. Once you're there, Carsoup asks for your zip code. Fill that in. You'll be sent to a separate page where you can submit your question, and Joel Goldberg will be joining us later tonight to answer some of your questions. Royals with a run in the 3rd on Alex Gordon's sac fly, and Boston just scored 2 in the 4th. Darnell McDonald with an RBI triple, and then Jacoby Ellsbury with a sacrifice fly. Billy Butler flied out to deep center against Miller first time up. Now jammed, and a fly ball shallow center. So Ellsbury running all over the place to take care of Billy tonight, and Billy is 0 for 2. Pepsi Max is giving fans the opportunity to build their own Field of Dreams team. You could win a chance to play ball with some of the game's greatest. Visit MLB.com/Pepsi Max for details. And remember, if you build it, they will come. Pepsi Max. Outside to Eric Hosmer, who went down on strikes, swinging at a curveball in the 2nd inning. One and one. Two balls and 1 strike. Miller has 2 strikeouts tonight, no walks. Two and 2. Remember, the Royals in Fox Sports Kansas City will be presenting our 3rd University Day game. It's K-State Day coming up on Sunday, so all Wildcats fans are invited to take advantage of special ticket prices and special pregame activities. Go to Royals.com/K-State for more information. And line to left field, Hosmer Snaps an 0 for 12 with a 1-out single.
It's a nice swing by Haas right there on that fastball, down and away. He's been hitting around the breaking ball, but this is a good piece of hitting here. Fastball down, he stays with it, stays behind it, gets through it very well, and line drive into left field. And when he starts going back that way with his fastballs, then you know sooner or later he'd be on the breaking ball and do a better job with those.
Jeff Francoeur doubled in the second inning. His 36th of the year. His career high is 40. Nice save by Saltalamacchia. 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, catcher have no defense when it's either them in the baseball or the ball's gone back to the wall and the guy takes an extra base. So I don't even know if there's a stat that they keep for blocking balls in the dirt with runners on base. But I tell you what, that's about as important a defensive aspect of the game as you can have right there.
It's called the BBD ROB. WROB stat. Blocking balls in dirt with runners on base.
So are you keeping track? You did that.
Well, there's so many.
You did that in 3 seconds.
Yeah, there's so many stats out there that have acronyms. You know that. WAR and WHIP and XFIB. And that's the BBD ROB. Full count to Francoeur. We haven't seen a good move from Andrew Miller tonight or when the Royals faced him on July 26th. Hosmer does not run. Francoeur grounds it to Pedroia. They get the out at second and turn a double play. So the Royals bat only 3, and at the end of 4, Boston leads 2-1. Sox team. He has given up 8 hits, but pitching well so far with men on base.
Well, he had those 2 innings with the bases loaded, the first inning and the third inning. He was able to get out of it, and both of those innings pitching around Dustin Pedroia really paid off.
That's just good baseball strategy, pitching around the proven hitter, the former Rookie of the Year, the former MVP, and making a young guy in just his second big league game beat you. That would be Ryan Lavarnway, who's on deck. Jed Lowry both times after Pedroia was intentionally walked to put runners at first and second, single. But neither time did the Red Sox come up with a base hit, and now he's 3 for 3.
Well, you're right, Ryan. 3 base hits, no RBI, but he's really putting the bat on the ball. Was able to get this fastball and get it in the left field for a base hit. So the Royals have been successful in walking Dustin Pedroia. With Lowry had Alcides Escobar jump real high to keep a ball on the infield. In the first hit, he had Adrian Gonzalez on second base and couldn't score. So just hitting into bad luck.
Ryan Lavarnway twice has left the bases loaded. The Red Sox have stranded 8 in the first 4 innings. Lavarnway has stranded 6 of those. Grounded out with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the first. Flied out with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the third. Lavarnway now 0 for 6 since making his big league debut last night. And Jeff Francis keeping a close eye on Jed Lowry, who has 1 stolen base attempt this year, and he was thrown out. There were some fireworks that went off in between innings, and the smoke is just kind of hanging over the field. I think it was fireworks. Yeah, it is a fireworks Friday.
The smell's not too good
yeah.
either.
One ball, 1 strike on Lavarnway. 30 home runs in the minor leagues when he was called up yesterday with Kevin Youkilis going on the DL. And we told you last night Lavarnway was the co-minor league player of the year for the Red Sox last year with Anthony Rizzo, who was then traded to the Padres. Fouled it off of Brian Pena. Maybe that wasn't the fireworks. Maybe there's something burning out there. Doesn't smell like fireworks, does it?
No, not to me at all.
No sign of any chaos out there in right field, as if there's some sort of a fire. Smoke just blowing in from right field with the wind blowing in from the east-northeast. Grounded through the right side. Ryan Lavarnway gets his first big league hit. And the Royals are grateful that it happened here in the 5th inning as opposed to the 1st or the 3rd innings. And a nice gesture on the part of the Royals to put up on Crown Vision that Ryan Lavarnway has just recorded his first big league hit. So Royals and Red Sox fans congratulating him for that.
It's always got to start somewhere, and I tell you what, it always starts with that first hit and getting a standing ovation, and you hope your career just goes from there.
He doesn't look like a guy who feels like he's just accomplished something. He looks like a guy who might still be thinking about the 1st and 3rd innings.
I think you're right. And a base hit with RBI is always better than just a base hit.
Now Crawford bunts and bunts it back into the seats behind home plate. As good as Carl Crawford is, Frank, there are some things about his game that don't make sense. He's never been much of a bunter, at least not against the Royals. as fast as he is, he's never really been a leadoff guy. And as good as he is on defense, he's never been a center fielder.
He's got all the qualities to be all those you named. He's got the speed for center field. He's got the speed for being a leadoff guy. You know, I think his bunting abilities could probably be better too. I think a lot of guys who run as well as Carl Crawford don't really take advantage of all the things that their natural abilities allow them to be able to take advantage of. And you figure a guy with his speed can probably get, you know, 10 to 12, maybe even 15 bunt base hits a year, and that makes a big difference on your batting average.
Yeah, especially when you're not swinging the bat well. I mean, you're not getting hits swinging the bat, lay down a bunt. And he is so fast, he doesn't even have to lay down a perfect bunt. Melky comes up to make the play, so Crawford doesn't advance anybody, one down.
And the problem, if you're a guy with his speed, let's say you get a bunt down. I mean, everybody knows you can run. Everybody's speeding up. Everybody has a rush, and that's when you create mistakes. But situations like this, first and second, you're not swinging the bat well, no outs. Use that speed. He tried it on the first ball, but he bunted it back here and probably said, well, I'm not going to get this done. So he went away from the bunt. But you got to be able to use those skills and put some pressure on the defense when you're lucky enough to have speed.
80 pitches for Francis, and with all the base runners, Everett Tiford starts to throw in the Royals bullpen. Jared Saltalamacchia bats with 2 on, 1 out, and hits it foul right at the plate. Take your group out to Kauffman Stadium and you will save big. Groups of 20 or more get a significant discount compared to single game ticket prices, and for those group tickets, call 816-504-4040 or visit royals.com/group. Saltalamacchia has flied out and grounded out. And he's down, no balls and 2 strikes. He is hitless in his last 13 at bats.
That's a real good pitch by Jeff Francis right there. Fastball up and in, and I wouldn't really be afraid to come back with another one to come back with it up higher, out over the plate. I mean, Brian gets way in the back leg. He gets it in there, just get it up a little bit higher. And this is where he's been in trouble at 0-2, making a good 0-2 pitch.
Baseball term, going up the ladder. If he chases a pitch up, see if he'll go 1 rung higher than that. Instead, it's out over the plate and drilled to left field. And on an 0-2 pitch, Saltalamacchia hits a 3-run home run.
Well, just take a look at it. It's got too much of the plate in the middle. You know, some would say this is down, but you know, the way he went down and got it, I mean, it's a pitch that we really took advantage of from Jeff Francis. Probably to slow himself down, look for something off speed, and then he got it and hammered it. But when you get guys chasing balls up high, then I think you got to keep it up there until they stop chasing it, because you got a chance to swing through it when it's up high like that.
And as you said before, Frank, sometimes a pitcher and a catcher just need to realize when they've got a hitter beat.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that goes by how you swing it and which direction he hits the ball.
McDonald flies out to Frank Poor. He's 1 for 3. 2 outs in the 5th.
We go back, and this is a pitch before the home run, the Saltalamacchia. They want to go up and in, and you see this pitch is up. He really can't hurt you on this pitch right here because it's above his swing. He swings up, and then the ball is above the bat. And so now you come down, and it's two strikes. Most guys slow down a little bit with 2 strikes, and the ball is just right there to be hit.
It was his 12th home run, and he has 41 RBIs. Oh, 0-2 to Ellsbury, who is grounded to the right side twice. Once lost a hit on a good play by Giavotella in the third inning, got a ground ball by him, and then hit a sac fly in the fourth.
You know, the only way the curveball works there to Salty LaMacca is if you actually, with the intent, you're going to bounce this ball in the dirt and get him to chase that, and the catcher's got to be ready to block it. But just too good a pitch, 0-2.
5 runs, 11 hits for Boston. Remember, in the Tampa Bay series before they came to Kansas City, they had 5 runs, 9 hits in the entire series. Beat the Royals last night 4-3 with 9 hits. And now 11 tonight. Right to Giavotella. So he's been playing pepper with Giavotella all night. Inning is over. Red Sox add 3. Get the crowd fired up, and the Royals as they're down by 4 to the bottom of the 5th inning. And a look at our AT&T trivia question for tonight. Who are the 2 National League left fielders with as many runs batted in as Alex Gordon? And Alex with an RBI tonight is 65. Johnny Giavotella, Brian Pena, Mike Moustakas in the 5th. Royals have 1 run, 3 hits against Miller in 4 innings. 1 bounce to Aviles, and Giavotella is down, 1 away. Johnny is 0 for 2. So Andrew Miller, who didn't even get out of the 4th inning, back on July 26th against the Royals. They came up with 9 hits against him in 3 2/3 innings. 7 runs, a couple of home runs. Pitching much better tonight. 4 1/3, 1 run, and I don't remember him pitching with this tempo in Boston. I mean, he looks like he's trying to do his best Mark Burley imitation.
I just try to get in some kind of rhythm. I think that the slower you work, the less out of rhythm you're going to be, and they speed him up. Don't give him much time to think about what's going on between pitches. Just have the catcher put the sign down and go.
And with 4 pitches, he has 2 ground ball outs. Brian Pena is 0 for 2. The 2 National League left fielders with as many RBIs as Alex Gordon.
Ibanez with the Phillies.
You're right on both occasions, but it's only 1 correct answer. Ryan Braun, who was drafted the same year that Alex was, out of the University of Miami. Good job, Frank.
I don't know how to take that one.
3-0 on Moustakas. He doubled leading off the third inning and came around to score on Alex Gordon's sac fly. Ryan Braun's Brewers taking a 6.5 game lead into tonight's game. And Raul Ibanez's Phillies have an 8.5 game lead. That's Andrew Miller's first walk. So Moustakas is on for a second time. And it brings up Alcides Escobar. Escobar did his part in setting up the run in the third inning. After the double, he was able to bunt Moustakas to third, and then Gordon got him home with the sac fly.
What the Andrew Miller showed right there is, on his, when he does his full windup, his fastball is probably 95 miles an hour, but in his slide step is 93. But the command and the quickness to the plate.
Hasn't thrown more than 17 pitches in an inning. Still 0-2. Shallow right center. And McDonald was playing shallow. That's the inning. 5 very good innings for Andrew Miller, pitching with a 4-run lead. And it's an RBI from Alex Gordon, who is the subject of our You Call It question, presented by Sprint. What has impressed you the most from Alex this year, his offense or his defense? And 53% disagreeing with Joel, Frank, and I. Chevy call to the bullpen. It's Everett Tieford to face Mike Aviles, Adrian Gonzalez, and Dustin Pedroia. 5 runs, 11 hits allowed by Francis in 5 innings. and once again hurt by a home run, and a 3-run home run. 21st game for Teaford, and appearing for the first time since Monday when he pitched against the Yankees in game 1 of that series. One and two to Mike Aviles, who singled and stole third in the 4th. This is Teaford's 3rd stint with the Royals. At AAA Omaha this year, he's pitched in 16 games and made 3 starts. Aviles' jam, nice big hop for Moustakas, and a good throw over to Hosmer. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White and Joel Goldberg at Kauffman Stadium, with producer Kevin Shank, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is T.J. McGinnis. A little game within the game in this series. Adrian Gonzalez and his quest to get the ball past Eric Hosmer. 0 for 3 in that department last night, 2 for 2 tonight. No chance for Hosmer on this one. And Gonzalez will have his 2nd extra base hit. He was 0 for 14 when the game began, and now 3 out of 4 with 2 doubles.
Yeah, Teaford left the fastball up out over the plate, and they jammed him inside early, and he had one off the end of the bat, but this was up out over the plate, and he drives it into right center field. Nice swing. And it just splits the outfielders and goes into second base with a double.
So 12 hits for the Red Sox, and none from Dustin Pedroia. He has been intentionally walked twice, and he is grounded back to the mound. 0-1. One ball, one strike. So Pedroia has dipped just below 500 for his batting average at Kauffman Stadium in his career, 24 out of 49. One and two.
You know, you look at the way this fastball goes out over the plate, and you think Pedroia can't get to that pitch. He'll see it once, and if he sees the same pitch again, he'll go after it. But that's an outstanding pitch by Teaford up on the outside corner.
Now, you can't argue with his success, but for his size, he appears to have a big swing. But it really isn't a long swing. He just has a big follow through. And I was just going to say, even with that swing, he's one of the toughest in the league to strike out. But Teaford gets him for the second out. And there are two down in the sixth. You can be part of Kansas City's 2012 All-Star team. Register now to be considered for the many 2012 All-Star Summer and All-Star Fan Fest volunteer opportunities. Apply to be a Kansas City All-Star now at allstargame.com. And now Teaford gets Jed Lowry, who is 3 out of 3. He has scored a run. Twice he has singled with a runner at second base. And he did not receive an RBI on either of those two occasions. Once because Adrian Gonzalez was at second base, and that's who's at second base here with 2 outs. Two and 0. The Royals bullpen tonight is going to have to work at least 4 innings. That was one of the selections on our hot watch tonight, that the bullpen would go 3 or more innings. Now 3 balls and no strikes on Lowry. So right now everybody just sitting back and watching Everett Tiford, but it should be a full night for the Royals pen. Three and 1. In the previous 5 games, the Royals bullpen has pitched 20 innings, and over that stretch, pitching with a 1.80 ERA.
Well, they've done an admirable job, you know, considering how many times they've had to come out of the bullpen. I think your starting pitchers really have to strive to go, you know, they got to really try to strive to go 7 innings, minimize their pitches, let the hitters put the ball in play, because you keep leaving games before the 6th inning, that bullpen's going to get taxed. You know, they used to coming out and trying to help you get maybe 6 outs a night, but when you got to get 9 outs and sometimes 12 outs, and if you leave, especially in a close ball game, you can't really expect to win that game, because that's just too many outs for the bullpen to cover on a regular basis.
Two on to Ryan Lavarnway, who picked up his first big league hit last inning, a single, and then came around to score his first big league run. 1 for 3 tonight and 1 for 7 as a big leaguer. Gonzalez at second, Lowry at first. 0-1. One ball, 1 strike. Lavarnway called up when Youkilis went on the DL, but he's filling in for David Ortiz, who has a bad right heel, bursitis in his right heel, and has been walking around in a boot to help promote healing. And the plan for now is Ortiz to sit out this entire series. 1-2. There's Big Papi, as they call him in Boston, chatting with Marco Scutaro, another Red Sox player that's banged up. He's been out 4 games in a row now with a stiff back, and Ortiz having a big year, so they're going to miss his bat. And without his bat in the Tampa Bay series, the Red Sox really struggled against Rays pitching. 2 strikeouts in a scoreless 6th for Everett Tiford.
slam inning. Our contestant is Chuck Farmer from Kearney, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run this inning, Chuck will win $700. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Chuck will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
It'll be Alex Gordon, 16 home runs. Melky Cabrera, 16 home runs. Billy Butler, 15 home runs against Andrew Miller, who has been sharp tonight, just 1 run in 5 innings. He struck out Alex in the first, and then Alex driving in a run with a sacrifice fly in the third. Alex has driven in 3 in this series. 1-1. Two balls and 1 strike. Miller just over 70 pitches. His season high for innings is 6, and he's only done that twice. And now 3 balls, 1 strike, and they're just starting to work in the Red Sox bullpen just in case Miller hits a wall in this inning.
Hey, missed with a couple curveballs and a fastball, so I can see where the concern might be a little bit. And, you know, a lot of it is track history, too, and just being ready when you have to be ready. Don't let him get in that situation where he's got to get too many men on base, have to pitch out of a tough inning.
And Alex walks. Only the second time the Royals have had the first man on, so haven't been able to really build anything against Andrew Miller. In the third, Mike Moustakas opened with a double, and the Royals turned that into a run. That is only the second walk allowed by Miller tonight. So Terry Francona will fill his mouth with bubble gum. As Miller works on Melky Cabrera. Melky's grounded out twice. Fastball is in there. One ball, 1 strike.
I think the concern with Andrew Miller, his last start, he only went 5 2/3 innings, and he allowed 3 runs and a season high 10 hits. So they, a lot of times when you kind of top out in that at 5th inning, that 6th inning range, and they just got to watch him close and make sure he doesn't get himself into a big jam before they make a move. You see a lot of that this year with starting pitching around the league. You see a lot of 5 innings, you know, 5 2/3, right at 6. But you're not seeing a lot of guys pitch through that wall, through that quality start wall, and become, you know, finishers as starting pitchers. They just sort of, the pitch count is usually up high at that number, and it just something that I just find amazing. And a lot of this goes with lack of command.
It's something I look at with every starter before every game. How many innings is he going per start? And of course, you get a better sample size the deeper you get into the game. And I would guess, I don't know this for sure, but I would guess the average is about 5 2/3 to 6 innings per start. And that's why we're seeing more and more 12-man pitching staff, 13-man pitching staffs.
6-man rotations.
Yep.
So you have to ask yourself, a lot of times, are guys getting to the major leagues too fast? I mean, are they getting here before they learn how to command their fastball and command their secondary pitches?
And every team is preaching the same thing.
Every team.
Early contact, getting the pitch count down, pitching deeper into games.
Pitch down in the zone. You know, make sure, let your defense help you play the game.
And now Terry Francona is starting to pace the Red Sox dugout as the lights are starting to flicker for Andrew Miller.
Well, you can always tell when he's throwing a couple fresh pieces of bubble gum.
Melky strikes out. Alex moves up on a stolen base. And Terry Francona is out of the dugout. So the leadoff walk and the long count to Cabrera didn't help. And Francona will bring in right-hander Alfredo Aceves in a Chevy call to the bullpen. With the runner at second and one out, and Alfredo Aceves takes over with Butler and Hosmer coming up. Aceves pitching mostly out of the bullpen. He has made 4 starts, but he is 8-1. He is 22-2 in his career. He is the first major league pitcher ever to win 22 of his first 24 decisions. He has been a good luck charm when he comes out of the bullpen. And the Red Sox, with a nice lead, have to go to their pen in the 6th. So Aceves ready to go now after Gordon walked, stole second, Cabrera struck out, and now Billy Butler, who has flied to center twice. Through a strike. Not exactly where Saltalamacchia was set up, but a strike nonetheless. Aceves at times can be animated on the mound, and we just saw a little bit of that before he got ready to pitch to Billy Butler. And you look at his number 91. How many 91s do you know in the game? And there is a reason for that number as far as being animated on the mound. He wears that to honor Dennis Rodman because he loved the way the NBA Hall of Famer would frustrate the other players.
Well, I mean, the way he ran up and down the court, too. I don't think I've seen anyone in basketball with as much energy as Dennis Rodman, and the ability to antagonize the opponents. And what a great rebounder he was.
Aceves also leads the Red Sox in rebounds. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You don't see that very often. You don't see a player wearing a number to honor an athlete from a different sport.
Well, that is true. That is true.
Ned Yost, of course, wears number 3 to honor Dale Earnhardt. His late friend of NASCAR fame. Car number 3. Billy down on strikes. So after the leadoff walk, back-to-back strikeouts, 2 down in the 6th.
Well, Chuck Farmer is waiting to see if Eric Hosmer is going to give him that jackpot tonight of $700 in our Sonic Slam inning. That's Chuck Farmer from Kearney, Missouri.
Well, Hosmer struck out in the 2nd inning. That made him 0 for 12, but then a solid single in the 4th. So a little more relaxed at the plate, I'm sure. And let's see what he can do with that. He takes a strike that appeared to be off the plate. Another pitch that was even farther off the plate, and Hosmer fouls it away. That's one part of his game that will really help him when he begins to shrink the strike zone.
Shrink the strike zone, you're right. And those slow breaking balls, rather than letting them get so deep and then where he's hitting around them, be able to recognize them quicker, meet them out front, and drive those breaking balls from right-handed pitchers, drive them into right center field, drive them into left center field.
Because there is absolutely nothing Kevin Seitzer can do to help Eric Hosmer hit that pitch he just swung at.
No, he's got to recognize it and make the adjustment himself on it. That's the toughest thing. He can help you with the fastball, but as far as recognizing off-speed pitches, then that's up to the hitter himself.
Well, I'm not even talking about the type of pitch. I'm just talking about where it is. I mean, there's nothing. Ted Williams couldn't do anything with that pitch. I mean, if it's 5 inches away from your belly button.
Well, recognizing that distance between the plate and your stance, and realizing that's a ball and not a strike. Right. Sure, I agree with that.
I mean, there's nothing Kevin can do to help him out.
No, not a thing.
The only thing he can do is get him to take it, and now he's in a better count. And that pitch way in off the plate. Pedroia runs up, throws him out. Royals get a leadoff walk and a stolen base, but come up empty in the 6th. Passing out some free hot dogs. You know, Slugger's Blue Crew package is now half price. For just $10, your package includes a powder blue batting practice jersey, a Royals cap, 2 Royals game ticket vouchers, and much more. Presented by U.S. Toy. Visit Royals.com/Blue Crew to order your child's Blue Crew package today. 2nd inning for Everett Tiefert. Worked around a double and a walk in the 6th. Also had a couple of strikeouts, and now We'll get Carl Crawford, Jared Saltalamacchia, and Darnell McDonald. Seifert stumbled as he started his windup. No penalty for that with nobody on base. Look out. Good news that everybody is smiling after a low line drive into the seats. And Crawford goes the other way. Alex dives and made a great catch on Carl Crawford. Somehow he was able to get his glove in between the ball and the grass.
Well, he's all out on this line drive. He makes his mind up early, and his body actually hits the ground before the ball goes in his glove. It's just unbelievable how he makes this play. And I have to tell you, I've never seen an outfielder dive in that direction to make a play. And he just, I mean, what else is new? I mean, he's just playing such a great game in left field. I mean, this is just outstanding play by Alex Jordan coming in.
Well, kudos to the fans that disagreed with us. Thank you for voting tonight. Fans more impressed with what Alex has done on defense this year than on offense. Can't disagree with that. It's just our opinions, but
wow,
both have been impressive.
Very impressive. I mean, there's a 50-50. You can tell how difficult it was for us to make our choices. But both were based on something new, a new batting approach, and a new position. I mean, that's one of those plays that he gambled on, and you know, Carl Crawford, if he gets by him, it's an inside the park home run probably, but just to be able to measure that line drive and be able to make that play, unbelievable.
Jared Saltalamacchia put an end to an 0 for 13 with a 3-run home run last time up. And he strikes out. Tonight is a carsoup.com email the booth night. Let's get some of your emails from Joel.
And by the way, I don't want to do an I told you so because both choices were good. And I need Alex to get an extra base hit the next time for the hot watch. Anyway, not a bad choice there. John Lynn, Victoria, Kansas, asks Frank, who is the best Royals defensive catcher you ever played with, and also the best you played against?
Oh, boy. Man, that's a tough one there. I mean, I was able to play against Jim Sundberg. I thought he was a very good defensive catcher. And, you know, you had Carlton Fisk. You had a lot of good guys back in those days. But to play with Darrell Porter, I thought was very good behind the plate. I go earlier with Buck Martinez. I thought he was a very good defensive catcher. And then Jim Sundberg again, you know, an '85 World Championship team, I thought still did a great job.
Back to you.
Nice, Joel. We'll get more questions from Joel when we come back. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. taste greatness moment.
And a great moment it was for Alex Gordon. I mean, this is a line drive off the bat across Crawford. He comes diving in toward the infield. What a great play.
And Crawford was leading off the inning. So that's trouble with him on base to begin an inning. He doubled leading off the fourth and came around to score. And after Alex's play, Everett Teaford got the next two hitters. Jeff Francoeur against Alfredo Aceves. Down, no balls, 2 strikes. Francoeur doubled in the second, grounded into a double play in the fourth, which was a nicely turned double play started by Pedroia. Royals run coming back in the third inning. Alex Gordon sac fly scored Mike Moustakas and put the Royals in front 1-0, but Boston has scored 2 in the fourth and 3 in the fifth. Still 1-2. Let's go back to Joel with some Carsoup.com questions.
All right, Ryan, you and I may know the answer to this, but I think this is a question for Frank from Tony Dollar and Lee Summit. Just based on experience, Frank, who replaces the first or third base coaches if they get ejected?
Well, that's a lot of times it's up to the manager who he wants to use. A lot of times your hitting coach will go into, if the third base coach is ejected, the first base coach will go to third base, and you can use your hitting coach at first base. So it depends on how the manager wants to work that. And if the first base coach is ejected, then again they look to the hitting coach to take his spot also. That, at least that's how it worked when I was coaching up here.
Who replaced you when Darrell Cousins sent you out?
Lamar Johnson.
There you go.
You know, he was really upset at me because Lamar never kept his jersey top on underneath his windbreaker. And so when I got kicked out, he didn't have a jersey, so he had to hustle up to the clubhouse, get his jersey on, and then go to first base.
It was Frank's fault. No, it was Darrell Cousins' fault.
Chiavitella breaks his bat. Pedroia scoops and throws him out, 2 down.
Well, this question, Ryan, comes all the way from Anchorage, Alaska, and while we don't usually get a chance to sit out in the stands, Kurt Woodward in Anchorage wants to know, he says, gentlemen, I was wondering where you would recommend I get seats for my kid's first Royals game.
Right behind home plate. Unless you like to see the players, you can get one close to the dugout, but I'm not one to sit behind. I like to be behind the screen.
I'd tell you where I'd like to sit, and I have never sat in the seats to watch a Royals game in 13 years. But I'd like to sit in those new seats out in left field.
Oh, out in by the fountains?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would say, as someone that gets a chance to walk around the stadium all the time, that anywhere in the outfield is such a neat view. And if you're bringing young kids, there are all the activities out there too. But it's pretty cool to be able to walk around and be above the fountains or below the fountains, and some really, really great perspectives out there.
Well, a couple years ago, or maybe it was last year, we did some games from the outfield, from the Pepsi party porch, and then in front of the Sonic sign in left field. And those outfield seats, I mean, you really feel like you're in the game. Those are the seats I'm talking about there, the lower tiered seats in front of the fountains. That's the right field side, and that camera shot coming from the left field side.
Well, you come to think, but we don't have an opportunity to sit in the stands and watch a game.
We got a pretty good seat up here, though.
Oh, boy. I just like this whole level here. I mean, it's just a great level to watch the game. I like to watch the game just slightly above the field so you can actually see everything that's going on. Sometimes ground level, you don't get to see all the guys breaking for balls after every pitch. Where you're just above the ground, you can see a lot.
If you're going to sit close to the game, though, I would say sit behind the screen if you can.
I would. Make your visit a pleasant one.
Hit hard to Pedroia. And that's that for the Royals in the 7th inning. Thank you, Joel. To the 8th, Boston still in front by 4. The American League. Detroit beating Cleveland, so the Tigers lead by 2.5 in the Central. Tampa Bay beating Seattle. Texas out in front of Chicago. Rangers lead their division by 6 over the Angels. Chicago 4 game back when games started. New York in front of Minnesota again. Yankees with a half-game lead over the Red Sox. Angels hoping to pick up a game. They put an end to a long losing streak against Texas last night. And Toronto is at Oakland. The Royals will be in Toronto when they begin their next road trip. 3rd inning for Everett Teaford, who has 2 scoreless innings so far with 3 strikeouts. 1-1 against Jacoby Ellsbury. Teaford gave up a 1-out double in the 6th, followed by a 2-out walk, and then struck out Ryan Lavarnway. And Teaford had an easy 1-2-3 7th, and Ellsbury gets drilled on the back. Man, you could hear that all the way up here. Terry Francona, the Red Sox trainer, they don't care that Ellsbury's on his way to first. They came bolting out of the dugout.
Well, that was a solid hit. Teaford dropped his arm down, and the ball stays arm side and goes straight in. You can tell by the sound of that. I mean, that's a solid blow to the back, right on the shoulder blade there. When you get hit like that, everything kind of goes numb.
Ellsbury says he's okay, and he's at first to begin the inning.
Well, that's going to hurt in the morning.
Now Mike Aviles, who is 1 out of 4. Singled, stole third base in the 4th inning, 2 out of 8 in the series. I'm sure he didn't like it at the time, but Mike Aviles, though he came up through the minor league system as a shortstop, he had to move on a couple of occasions because the Royals had Andres Blanco in the minor leagues, and then they sent Angel Baroa to the minor leagues. And because he learned third base and second base, became a more valuable player. Hits it up the line for a double, and Ellsbury goes first to third easily. So a hit batter and a double, and the Red Sox have two in scoring position with nobody out.
When you don't get the ball in there, that's what happens, Ryan. Is right down the line, base hit down the left field line, and Alex gets it back in, but it's second and third, a double for Michael Aviles. And, you know, just a follow-up on what talking about Aviles, when he played for me in the minor leagues, that's kind of how they did it. You know, a couple days at second, couple days at short, and couple days at third, and that experience for him started, you know, quite a while ago.
Two in scoring position for Adrian Gonzalez, who has 3 hits. And then in 2008, when Tony Pena Jr. was struggling as a hitter, the Royals called up Mike Aviles, and when the season was over, he was the Royals Player of the Year. But that would be his last season as an everyday shortstop. More playing time at second base and third. Blew out his elbow at the beginning of the 09 season. And back at short for the Red Sox with Marco Scudero out with a sore back. Gonzalez hits it to left. Great speed at third. Alex the catch. And actually a pretty close play. Strong throw. And Brian Pena receiving the throw and almost got Ellsbury, who just got his foot in between Pena's legs. 6-1 Boston.
Well, Alex gets himself in position to throw this ball and really throws it down right through the cutoff man. Moustakas let it go. And you're right, that was a very, very close play. That wasn't a routine. I mean, that wasn't a medium fly ball in the left field. That's fairly deep left field, and he really lets it go. And this is a very close play to get with a fast runner on third base. And it just got that foot right in between Brian's legs.
So one little stumble by Ellsbury.
It's over.
Now Pedroia 0 for 2 with 2 walks. One and one. Intentionally walked twice, both by Jeff Francis, that in the first and third innings, setting up bases loaded situations for Boston in those 2 innings, and Francis was able to get out of those 2 jams. Didn't give up any runs in the first 3 innings, and then Boston scored 2 in the 4th and 3 in the 5th off of Francis, replaced by Teaford in the 6th, and now Teaford trying to give the Royals 3 innings tonight. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Pedroia. This week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Albert Pujols leads the Cardinals into Chicago to battle the Cubs in a showdown between bitter division rivals. This week's telecast of Fox Saturday Baseball begins at 3 p.m. only on Fox. An exciting game at Wrigley Field today. Tyler Colvin with a walk-off hit in the 10th inning. St. Louis had a 4-1 lead earlier in the game. And the Cubs making some news earlier today as they fired their general manager Jim Hendry. Nate Adcock just waiting for the call as Pedroia rolls it to short, and under Escobar's glove, coming around third, is Aviles, and it is 7-1 Boston. An error on Escobar, no RBI for Pedroia.
Most times this occur right here when you just overrun the ball, and as Escobar did right there, he just didn't get the glove down. Just right off the inside of his glove. Just miscalculated where the ball just didn't get the glove in there. Mike was able to score when the ball just rolls behind Escobar at shortstop.
Error number 13 for Escobar. And another chance. They'll turn this one into a double play. The Red Sox get 2 in the 8th, and now they lead by 6.
Getting ready for Boulevard Royals Live. We talked about Jeff Francis in the pregame show and his first inning struggles. Did fine in the first. It was the middle innings that gave him some trouble tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll have highlights, reaction, more great defense from Alex Gordon, and we'll take your text questions at 432-432 keyword live. That and more coming up after the game, plus Fireworks Friday. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. Changes for the Red Sox. Josh Reddick moves into right field, and Darnell McDonald goes from right to center. So Jacoby Ellsbury hit by a pitch in the 8th inning, stayed in, came around to score. He comes out, probably has a bag of ice on his back, as Alfredo Aceves gets ready for the bottom of the 8th. You got the last 2 outs in the 6th in relief of Miller, and then it's a scoreless 7th. He's phased 5 and retired 5. The Royals have Mike Moustakas, Alcides Escobar, and Alex Gordon. (2-0). Moustakas doubled going the other way in the 3rd inning and scored the Royals run, and then walked on 4 pitches in the 5th. And he hits it to right center, and Reddick comes over for the out. Don't forget, Royals fans, the next time you want to catch a Royals game, head to StubHub, where you'll find the seats you want and the freedom to choose where you want to sit. StubHub is the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Kansas City Royals. One away to Alcides Escobar. Her ball in for a strike, not according to Fox Tracks. Escobar has a sac bunt and a fly out to right. Just committed an error in the top half of this inning, which led to an unearned run. 0-2. Pitch strikeout. Aceves has 3 tonight. So here's Alex with a strikeout, a sac fly, a walk, and a stolen base. Ball one inside. Popped up. Man, if it comes down, Lowry will make the catch. 2 2/3. Very solid innings for Alfredo Aceves. Ninth inning. So 7 runs on 13 hits. And Nate Adcock is the third Royals pitcher. Everett Tiefer just tied a season high with 3 innings. Gave up a couple of runs. One of those runs was unearned. And now Adcock taking over in the 9th with Ryan Lavarnway, Carl Crawford, and Jared Saltalamacchia. Ryan Lavarnway 1 for 4, and that one hit was his first major league hit, a single to right field in the 5th inning, and came around to score on Saltalamacchia's 3-run home run. Outside for ball 1. Five innings for Jeff Francis, gave up 5 runs, and then Tiefer giving up 2 in 3 innings. Two balls and no strikes.
You know, as we look at that last pitch on Fox Tracks and where it's at, and if you had to just go in your memory bank and just see all the Fox Track squares that we've seen all year, I would guarantee that's the pitch that's missed most right there. That one right at the top of the knees, right down the middle of the plate, right across that bottom line.
And the reason could be, maybe not, but that grid that we see is not over the middle of the plate, and it's not over the back of the plate. It is in front of the plate. So it looks like it's in the bottom half of the strike zone on Fox Tracks, but as the ball continues to descend as it goes across the plate, and maybe that's why the umpire sees that pitch as low.
You know, when it passes the hitter's knees, though, if it goes through that, it's got to be a strike to a certain point, at least halfway through the plate before it starts to go down. But just calling that low pitch has just been a difficult pitch, I think, for the umpires to call this year.
And it's right where the pitchers want to be.
Yeah, you teach pitch down, and when they get down, they don't get that call. Now they got to raise it up a little bit, and then that's when they get hit pretty good.
Carl Crawford to the plate. Also 1 out of 4 with a run scored, and then lost a hit in the 7th inning when Alex Gordon made a great diving play coming in from left. Gonna have to hurry. Out at second, and a double play. That doesn't happen very often with Carl Crawford. Just the 5th time this year. So 2 down, and now Jared Saltalamacchia, who turned in the Chevy play of the game in the 5th inning.
Well, right, Ryan. That was a changeup from Jeff Francis on an 0-2 count that he would hit a 3-run homer deep in the left field. And that really kind of got this game opened up for the Red Sox. Then from a pitching coach perspective, that's what an 0-2 home run. I mean, that is against the rules.
Down and into Saltalamacchia. Back of his jersey looks like the Gateway Arch. That is the longest last name in Major League history. 14 letters. It is a far cry from another big league catcher, former big league catcher, Ed Ott.
I mean, at an autograph session, I wonder if he shortens that at all.
2-1.
Again, you watch that pitch there from Nate Adcock, and you watch the way Saltalamacchia swings. Then the high fastball is the one. If he'll chase it, then high fastball is kind of what I would throw, because he's got the kind of swing that makes him on time for pitches down in the zone.
Drilled to center field, deep, but playable. Melky brings it down, and Adcock only faces 3 in the 9th. Last chance for the Royals, down by 6. A 1-run game last night, 4-3, with the big lead tonight. Getting good pitching from Andrew Miller, and even though he wasn't able to pitch deep, going 5 1/3 innings, the Red Sox may get through this, only having to use 2 pitchers, as Alfredo Aceves has gone 2 2/3 perfect innings. So he's faced 8 and retired 8, and now the 9th. It'll be Melky Cabrera, Billy Butler, and Eric Hosmer. So Miller trying to improve to 5-1 and get his first ever win against the Royals. Remember, he carried an ERA of over 11 in his career against KC into the game tonight. Melky Cabrera 0 for 3. Royals took the lead in the bottom of the 3rd inning when Alex Gordon sac fly scored Mike Moustakas. And then Boston with 2 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th, 2 in the 8th. No balls and 2 strikes on Melky. Line to right, Reddick with a good running play.
Then we saw him back in Boston early. We didn't really had an opportunity to see Reddick play, but when you watch him in the outfield, he gets great jumps on line on fly balls, and he also has a nice level swing. And he's looks like he's a real good looking ball player.
Now Billy jolts it to left center field and off the fence and into second base with a 1-out double.
This one just put a charge into this one. The fastball out over the plate. Billy did a good job just staying right through it. That front foot lands early. He recognizes the pitch and gets through it very easily. This ball hits the wall very quickly. That's when he got all your cutoff guys line up for third, and the throw goes to second base.
Breaking ball for a strike. Eric Hosmer is 1 out of 3. The Royals will face knuckleballer Tim Wakefield tomorrow. And Felipe Paulino gets the call for the Royals. A 6:10 game tomorrow. Ivy Royals live at 5:30. 1-1. Hosmer jolts it to right. Foul, but impressive. 1-2. So you're going to want to watch the beginning of our telecast tomorrow as Frank White is going to explain to all of us how to hit a knuckleball.
Well,
and we're going to see if he can hit my knuckleball.
You have one?
I will tomorrow. Hosmer out in the fly ball to left. I'll bet in all your years of facing knuckleballers, you probably didn't see a left-handed knuckleball. Or did you?
Yeah, just one. Wilberwood.
Okay. Jeff Francoeur doubled in the second inning. He is 1 for 3.
Yeah, Wilberwood, I remember he started both games up a doubleheader one day.
Really?
Yeah.
Royals scored all of their runs last night in the first 3 innings. And now, since the 4th inning last night, they have scored 1 run. So that's 1 run in the last 14 innings, 14 2/3 innings. And unless Francoeur can drive in Butler here with 2 outs. 3-0. Billy Butler's double is the first hit allowed by Aceves, the only runner allowed by Aceves. And man, you talk about sweating. Look at the bill of his cap. It's like he just got out of the rain.
Wow.
Four pitch walk, 2 on with 2 out. remember Dwan Brazelton, pitched for the Tampa Bay Rays, right-hand pitcher? That name ring a bell? He used to sweat like that.
Well, I played behind Gaylord Perry, and he used to sweat like that, too.
Dripping off the bill of the cap. Man.
Well, you never knew about Gaylord.
Weren't quite sure what was a foreign substance and what was a domestic substance. And now 2 balls and no strikes on Giavotella. And the Red Sox are going to make a call down to the bullpen. So Seves retired the first 9. And with 1 out in this inning, Butler doubled with 2 outs, a 4-pitch walk to Francoeur, and now Seves might be running out of gas. It would appear that way with the way the sweat is running off of his hat. But that might be the case, and now he's missed with 6 straight pitches. Three and 0. Terry Francona would hate to have to bring in another reliever with such a big lead in the 9th inning. Three and 1. Crowd reacting to Giavotella bending back on a pitch that appeared to be in the strike zone. Full count. Saltalamacchia standing up and reminding everybody that the runners will be going with a full count and 2 outs. They run. Giavotella pulls it toward third. Lowry with an off-balance throw, picked by Gonzalez, and that's the game. So Seves has just enough in the end, and the Red Sox beat the Royals by 6. So Boston has won the first 2 games of the series, and we'll be right back.